Hello all, hi. My name is Amrinath Upadhyay and I will be the instructor for Linux class. So what I have planned, I will teach you Linux from basics and I will try to cover as many as aspects as possible. So this will be my first class on Linux. Here in this class, I will give you an overview of Linux. What is Linux, and what are important terminologies in Linux, and some of the basic commands. So, so let's start. What is Linux? Linux is basically an operating system. So you must be wondering, what? Linux is an operating system? Yes, Linux is an operating system. So we must before understanding Linux, we must understand what is operating system. So operating system is basically a software that helps us to manage our hardware resources of our laptop or PCs. So Linux is also an operating system that manages the hardware resources of our laptop or PCs. Basically, Linux is used in servers. Almost 90% of the work of server is done in Linux. So this was the Linux. So in Linux, you must have heard about a term called kernel. What is kernel? Kernel is basically a bridge, you can say that, which establishes a communication between hardware resources and the software. So to explain you in detail about what is kernel, I will show you a diagram of what is a kernel. So let's go to this diagram. Here what you see three processes are running on a machine. This is the process 1, this is the process 2, and this is the process 3. So for process 1, it will take some RAM and some space. Process 2 will also do the same, and similarly process 3. So what kernel will do? Kernel will allocate some resources, and process 1 will feel like it is solely alone running on the machine. So a kind of virtual machine is set up for process 1, a kind of virtual machine is set up for process 2, and a kind of virtual machine is set up for process 3. So all these three processes will think that they are independently and only running on the system. So this is the main purpose of kernel. So you have got an idea of kernel. So let's talk about commands in Linux. What happened in Linux? So as I told you, Linux is basically an operating system. So in operating system, suppose you have worked on Windows. What you have seen local dice in C, D, E, F and all, in which like in local drive C you have your Windows installed, and local drive D you keep all movies, games, and local drive E you keep your documents. So in this way you keep. Similarly in Linux also there is this thing, and this here it starts from root. So basically this symbol you will see, this is the root. So to explain you about the directory structure of in Linux, I will show you a diagram. So see, here is the diagram. Here this is the root directory, and in root directory it is a like tree structure. You have bin folder, you have boot, dev, etc, home, library and so on. So what this folder store, we will talk in our later part. For now let's understand, this is the Linux file system hierarchy. So let's jump to the main thing, practical. Let's start our classes, what for which we are here. So first I will tell you about pwd command. Pwd command is basically tells us where we are right now. So you can see we are at users Amrind Upadhyay. Here I am using Mac Linux. So if here I am at Amrind slash user slash Amrind Upadhyay. Suppose I want to move to any directory. So what we will use, I will use cd command. So I want to go to this root directory. I will type cd slash this. Let's see where we are. We are at root directory. In root, what are the things in root? To see that we use ls command. Ls command is used to list down the things. which are present over there, and this is an option in ls tests ltr to show it in a proper way. So this, you can see this, there are particular number of columns. What does these columns mean? I will like explain you about all this thing. Please don't worry. For now, understand this. If I have just typed ls, then it would have shown me in this way. Okay, so if I will type just cd command, it will give me to the home directory. So I am where, let's see, I am at slash user slash Amrinder. Earlier I was at this home directory, then I moved to root, and after displaying listing all the things at root, I then again moved back to our home directory. Let's move to let's see what is there at our home directory. We can see these are the things. So let me go to my downloads. So I will go to cd downloads. Here let's see list what is the things. Here you can see this is the list. So here we will create a empty file. To create an empty file, I will use touch command. Touch xy check. It will create a empty file. Let's see this. This is here. This is the empty file. To read this file, we will use cat command. Oh, 1 minute. It's cat xyz. Since there is nothing written in this file, so it is not showing anything. Suppose I have to write something in this xyz file, I will use vim command. Vim xyz, enter. I will use I, and like this is my first lecture on Linux. Let me save this. Okay, for saving I have used semicolon wq. Let's read this. This is my first lecture on Linux. So for now, let's end this session on this only. So please don't worry if things might have gone above your head. We will later on discuss in our classes. This was just an overview to give what is Linux. So please don't worry, we will keep and see each and every topic properly. So for now, thanks, and I'm logging out. Love and peace from me.